Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Love that echo. Welcome back to Daily Forest. It's me, Mark, and the brilliant Stuart. How are you, dude? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all good. All good. It's great to be back on the pod and talking all things Forest as we enter a crucial part of the season. I think where we are at the end of March wherever we are end of March, I'm saying it now, that's where we'll be end of May.
Well, hopefully that's positive. Some big games coming up, so hopefully we get through them unscathed. Team news for the weekend. We have got 2 injuries. I'm not actually match fit this weekend. Did my shoulder a few weeks ago. Was told it was a frozen shoulder, but actually turns out it's just the rotator cuff, so we're all right. We're in physio. Stuart's also out. Dude, what's happened?
Yeah, it's a long-standing knock. Unfortunately, had a bit of surgery a year and a half ago, and was feeling it again. So a variety of interesting treatments on the wrist, but in the end, they just said, put some tape on it. So here we are.
Mate, he's got the sports tape on as well. Look at that. You have to start calling you Britta Sombalonga.
He was a great player, definitely a wild card Wednesday subject. Top Forest 100%. Players who had their careers ruined by injury, unfortunately.
Yeah. Brit Sombalonga.
As we didn't call him, but we should have done.
Come on. Well, that's what your name can be, because the arm's in and out. It's like the hokey cokey, innit, with our shoulders and arms at the minute. In, out, shake it all about, or not too much because they hurt. But big game this weekend is City, obviously through to the quarterfinals. Relieved, happy, excited?
Yeah, I think probably in that order. Relieved, happy, excited. Relieved because we haven't yet had a difficult draw. I know that a lot of people are saying prioritise the league over the cup, and I get that.
We've made it very difficult.
But we've been heavy favourites for all 3 of those games. Was it Luton, Exeter, and Ipswich? I would have been. Although I'm also in the camp of saying I'd rather get Champions League than win the cup, purely due to the long-standing financial benefits. We should have beaten all 3 of those teams more easily and more straightforward than we did. So that's relieved. Next one, happy. Yeah, happy. You always got to be happy seeing the celebrations on the pitch after the game, especially Nuno sprinting after Olarena and just saying, "Oh, get on my back, mate. Get on my back. I know you've played your heart out 120 minutes. Don't need to walk anymore." And excited because we're a game away from Wembley. So relieved, happy, excited. All three of them, Mark.
Yeah, one of those teams that could be at Wembley as well is Manchester City. We've got them this weekend. Starting to get back to some form, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we've played them both times we played them this season. It's been at the wrong time. So when we played them in December, I think they were 2 or 3 games into their bad run of form, and that's why we sort of gave them too much respect, I feel. So we treated them like the old City, and they played like the old City. Whereas if that game had been 2 or 3 games later, when they were right in the middle of their losing streak, we could have taken the game to them and maybe gotten something at the Etihad. And now, with those January signings, Omar Mamouche, Kuzanov, the guy from Uzbekistan, and Nico Gonzalez, they've got 3 multi-million pound new signings, and they are looking a team again. So it'll be tough at the City Ground on Saturday.
Yeah, I like the look of that Vitor Reis as well. Like Rolls Royce of a defender is what he was called. I think he had like 19 million they spent on him, or 22 million, something like that. He's young as well.
But so interesting, about double the price almost of Murillo. So similar background, impressed in Brazil, but moving to Europe very early. But maybe that's the City tax, City premium that they were charged double. And let's hope he's not double the player Murillo is.
Yeah, we talked about the Fulham game. That was away. This one's obviously at home, and we were at home in midweek, so we haven't had to travel anywhere. So that would have saved a little bit. But the City played on Saturday. We played on Monday. 2 days less recovery, and obviously City are a much more, you would expect, oiled outfit compared to Fulham. Although Fulham have been looking great recently. Again, won in the cup at United. Do you think that'll play? I know we say, your Premier League players, they've got a whole week to recover. They should really be back to full fitness. But they've had that extra day or 2 to prepare. And against City, you can't really afford to lose any days, can you?
Yeah, I mean I say it's fine. It's that way around. Let's say it'd been City on the Monday and then Ipswich on the Cup Saturday. I think then it might almost become an excuse. I might think, we played the big boys on Monday. I can't get myself up for this game on a Saturday. because it's the other way around, it's the shorter rest time, but for the bigger game. And I think adrenaline will carry the players through. And yeah, although there might be one or two concerns, we mentioned already, getting 120 minutes, a few others playing deep into the night as well. I'm not so concerned. Monday to Saturday with the adrenaline of the big game, I think they should be okay.
Okay, let's talk sticking points. How concerned are you about Omar Marmoush coming to Forest? Tried to sign him so many times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think in his mind, I don't think that'll be a factor, because it's not as if he was some really obscure player that we had identified. I mean, he was tearing up the Bundesliga. So I think from his point of view, I don't think he'll be thinking, "Oh yeah, this could have been my home. I could have been walking on that river." I don't think he'll have that in his mind at all. But yeah, he has made City look better. Haaland hasn't really had a strike partner in his time at the club. So when Foden and Grealish and De Bruyne have been firing, he hasn't needed one. But those players haven't been firing as much this year. So it's certainly given City already a very different option. And yeah, Marmoush, you could maybe say he's a danger man ahead of Erling Haaland.
Yeah, well, I think he's kind of filled the void that they really missed for me with Alvarez. Alvarez went to Atletico, scored an unbelievable goal in the Champions League the other day. By the way, 81 million is a lot of money, but he is some player, and to replace him, they kind of didn't really bring anyone in. Savinho replaced one of the other wingers that went out in summer. But no one really kind of took over that Alvarez role, and they've missed that. And then obviously Marmoush has stepped in. His firing boots haven't quite been on, but he got a hat trick the other day, a bit of confidence. And the rumours are he very nearly came to the City ground, but the fans at Frankfurt were so desperate for him to stay that he felt like he belonged there. If that is true, do you think he'll celebrate in front of the Forest fans?
I mean, it depends on the game. I think he's not going to do like that and put the hands down and refuse to celebrate at all. Because as I said, Forest it's not as if he's ever really had a connection with the club, but I don't think he'll go crazy. For example, if he scores, I don't think we will lose 2-0, but let's say he scores a second and a 2-0 win, I think he'll celebrate respectfully, but equally if he gets a last-minute screamer or a last-minute equaliser, I don't think he's going to hold back just because this is a team who tried to sign him. I don't think. I know that when Marley was on the pod a few weeks ago talking about Santiago Jimenez maybe coming to us in January, and he was dead to Marley. In Marley's book, if you turn down Forest, then he doesn't want to hear the name ever mentioned again. I don't think it was quite like that with Marmoush, but equally, yeah, I think we'll forget about it in years to come. We almost signed him because, as you said, it's only rumours. We don't really know for sure if we did almost sign him or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to put my neck on the line and say, if he has a bit of a stinker for the rest of the season at City, happily take him on loan next season.
Oh yeah, completely.
He did bits for us. He does look like some player as well, don't you? You watch him play for City as well with those players around him. You think, he's got quality.
Yeah,
he does look good.
Yeah, again, he would be the main man with us. Sorry as you said, maybe slotting in as Haaland's foil, as his understudy almost. But who knows? Maybe if the opportunity does arise again, he certainly still could well light up the City ground.
Be interesting to see how they play actually, City. Because obviously no Champions League, so they won't have to think about midweek. They'll probably put a strong team out because they need to keep winning the games. I'd quite like to see McAtee in that role behind Haaland. I'd like to see him start a few games because he looks like a player, doesn't he? He's just kind of limited for those opportunities. Although then again in the summer, maybe that'll play into our favour if we want to sign him.
Yeah, I think they didn't want to let him go in January because, of course, in January they didn't know they'd be out of the Champions League, so they wanted to keep him around as an extra body. But no, I think you're completely right. He will, I think, be on the move in the summer. If I'm right in saying he's only started in the Carabao Cup or towards the end of the Champions League group stage, I don't think he started in the Premier League. So yeah, if James McAtee is to be the next Cole Palmer, then we should be the type of club who he's joining, simply because, Cole Palmer, when he joined Chelsea, he went from fringe of City's squad to what Chelsea were 6th in the league. We are could finish around 6th in the league or maybe higher. So, yeah, I'd expect us, if McAtee is going to leave City permanently, I'd expect us to be in contention of bringing him in.
Yeah, I'd love to see him come to the City ground. Imagine him, Gibbs White, and Elliot Anderson, and around that midfield, it'd just be like, oh, we'd be good,
And
wouldn't we?
form those
It'd be good to
connections for
watch.
England as well.
Yeah, great for England as well. Tough competition from Dortmund and Leverkusen and those types of teams as well, though. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's play the ads. Then we'll go and talk a little bit about the FA Cup because we've got a lot to round up from this week, and then we'll do predictions at the end.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionic, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionic provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionic.
Great, thanks,
Don't
Bionic.
settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Absolutely right now, please, as well. Didn't know there was more at the end. And can I just say, by the way, the most hypnotic music. I was loving every second of that. I was like, having a little like, oh, it's taking me away.
Getting
to my
your
happy
phone out
thoughts.
and clicking that link and stocking up in your Bionic as you hear the music. So yeah, it's a very nice, long, persuasive bit of jingling from Ken Davis at the Global Sports Podcast Network. He's the voiceover on that, I believe.
It's lovely, wasn't it? Dum 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 dum. I'm like, great, it's fantastic, very peaceful. It's lovely. Not so peaceful. The FA Cup. Right, we've made it. We've made a journey of this season. We've got to put the teams to bed. Although moving forward, away game not what we wanted, but I think a trip to the Amex probably more promising than a trip to St James's. Although will revenge be on the cards after the 7-0?
Yeah, I think certainly Bournemouth and Fulham will probably be the ones to avoid. What with our sort of seeming curses against our promotion buddies from that class of 2022. So yeah, of course you want to be playing at home, or being Preston at home would have been the dream draw. Let's be honest. I mean, no disrespect to Preston, of course, the lowest ranked team in it. So we want to be playing them at home at this stage. But Brighton away, it'll be interesting. Revenge, I think, will be on their minds. Although I think they've actually picked up more points since that than we have. I think we picked up two losses and a draw since then. I think they've won 2 and drawn 1. So it's actually revitalised them and not yet given us the courage to push on. So yeah, we could really be neck and neck in the table with Brighton come the end of March. It'll be a really, really fascinating game against someone who, apart from the off day, we should be well matched to. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna want to win the cup or get to those Wembley semi-finals, you've got to win these tricky ties, and you got to win the easy ties. We've been winning the easy ties, and let's see how we can do against certainly our toughest cup opponent this season so far.
Yeah, tough couple of games. Brighton away is not going to be easy in the cup. We've got City coming up. We managed to survive against Arsenal. We've got a point. But, Arsenal, a very deprived squad. I mean, they've got a lot of players out. Yes, all right, I know they beat PSV 7-1 the other day. However, you feel against City, they're probably going to bring more strength. And especially with Brighton in the cup. If you look at their performances recently, like Minte, like Rutter, João Pedro's been good all season when he's been fit. And, Matoma, like they really look like they're on form at the minute.
Yeah, completely. I think that was their problem against us in the 7-0 was that they played them all at once, and they didn't start with anyone in the holding mid role, just Hinchelwood, who's a fullback. So I think certainly a mistake from Fabian Hutzler in a game to play all his attacking options at once. But now these other more defensive minded players are coming back, then you do expect him to line up with 2 or 3 of those attacking options who you mentioned, and then the others coming onto the bench into extra time, which we don't have. Brighton's, although maybe our Gibbs White, Elanga, Hudson-Odoi are just as good as Mitoma, Minte, and João Pedro. They then have Welbeck, they have Adingra. They have options in depth that we, with Awani, Sousa, and Jota, just don't have really in terms of game-changing attacking substitutions.
Yeah, well, that'll be the task for summer, isn't it? I mean, I'd love in someone to get McAtee and Hutchinson. Like, imagine that as like your bench.
Oh, yeah, so, I
But
mean,
again, you
I'm
probably couldn't
not
bench
sold on
McAtee. That's the
Hutchinson.
issue.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah,
we thought Anderson would be a bench option, didn't we? We thought Anderson would be Gibbs White's understudy, Gibbs White's backup, but then he forced his way into the team, playing in a deeper role than he'd ever played for Newcastle, where he was an attacking player or even a winger. So, yeah, I think if McAtee, if we were to sign him, we'd want him to also push on in a way similar to Anderson and create himself that role in the team, make himself undroppable as Anderson has done so.
yeah, be lovely, wouldn't it? So, in terms of Brighton, would you change things up a little bit? Would you try something new? Because obviously we've got a lot of games coming up. Would you mix it up? It's a cup game. Would you give anyone else a chance? Would you try and maybe get some more fitness into like Sangare and Danilo? Maybe even give Sousa another chance because he's looked lively recently. Sousa has.
Yeah, it's weird the timing. So we've got City Saturday, then it's Ipswich again in the league, then there's an international break, and then the FA Cup. So there's actually there's a bit of a strange order of fixtures. So you're right, maybe because it is the first game back after another international break. Then yeah, we could do like what we saw in I think the November international break. So if Chris Wood, I don't know what New Zealand are up to, but if he's flying 3 times around the world to play for New Zealand against Fiji or whatever, then you can maybe give Taiwo a start in the cup. I mean, I would like to see us play the full strength. So definitely Sells in goal, definitely Gibbs White starting, things like that. But 1 or 2 changes, possibly Sousa in for a Hudson-Odoi. You're right to give him that one additional chance, and Taiwo for Chris Wood if Chris Wood is tired, and if these matches if it's going to go to penalties again, then give Taiwo and Chris Wood an hour each. But with Taiwo as the starter rather than Chris Wood this time, I would certainly not be against the idea of So I think we made 10 changes in the first 2 rounds. Ipswich Monday we made 6 changes. So I think maybe 3 or 4 changes for Brighton would be what I would anticipate. So not full strength, but a good starting 11.
Yeah, tough few games. I mean, Ipswich away, that's not going to be easy either. You're looking at that. That's straight after City as well. It's a bit savage, really. It's a must-win game. But at Portman Road, their fans will be up for it. And, like we said, there's 3 or 4 of their attacking team that we'd probably want to sign.
No, completely. Ipswich, if they are going to stay up, I mean, they've like we had to do the last 2 years where you circle, could get a point there, could snatch a win there. We're on their list as a target. If Ipswich are going to stay up, they're going to need to at least pick up a point at home against us in a week's time. And yeah, it's possible, as you say, if we've come out of a bruising game against City on Saturday with confidence dropped or maybe picking up a knock or 2, then yeah, Ipswich will not be an easy game in a week's time. So we'll quickly play our second ad and let Mark refresh himself. I think he's too wowed by Liam Delap there, it seems.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out as the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone, AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the description to learn more about Zencastr.
Another nice music background to these ads now that we didn't have earlier in this season. So definitely great to be part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. Definitely great to do a lot with Zencastr, and I can assure you that it's Mark's London hipster artists, actors flat in London with the bad Wi-Fi, and not Zencastr that's leading to this Frozen. City on Saturday. Starting lineup predictions from me. We're going to have to go for Sells in goal. I mean, I think he will probably win PFA goalkeeper of the season in the team of the year. I know you can't really predict who the other players are going to vote for. It's a player voted for award, of course, as well. But ultimately, he's been probably the best Premier League goalkeeper in the season so far. I know Alisson had a great night in the Champions League last night as we record, but because he's not played enough games in the league, Kelleher had a good chunk at the start of the season, which is why I think Sells it's got to be the shout for goalkeeper of the season. Usual back four. We also mentioned Aina is tired, but he's going to start. It'll be Aina, Milenkovic coming in after he was rested, then Murillo and Nico Williams. Yates and Anderson, the middle two. Dominguez has not been so impressive from what we've seen of him over the last couple of games that he's started. So I think, this is the game for Yates. A couple of goals in his game now in the Newcastle loss and against Ipswich midweek. So I think this is definitely a game for Yates partnering Anderson, a partnership they've played a couple of times before. And then I think the usual front four of Langer, Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi, and Chris Wood. There's a call. There's an argument for perhaps bring in a Dominguez or a Sangare into the middle, playing Anderson out wide. That could work, but ultimately I want to go for our main four. So Mark, I just went through my lineup. I'm not sure if you could hear me. Try and guess my team for the City game, and we'll see if that would also be the team you pick. So who did I go for as the goalkeeper?
All right, I reckon you go Matt Sells in goal. Because let's be honest, we do not have anyone else. Back four, I reckon you've kept it the same as the Prem team normally is. Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo, Nico.
Yep, that's what I went for. Yeah, no changes from your team yet. You would also go for that, or would you throw Moreno in?
I'll come back to you on that one.
Okay.
I'll come back to you. I reckon you've thrown Yatesy in to disturb the City middle. And
reading my mind.
Probably put Anderson next to that with Gibbs White, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Elanga and Wood.
Perfect. So you guessed my team perfectly. Then guess Nuno's team. Yeah. Do you think? Would you also agree with that, or is there any other names you can throw at me that I might have missed, or we could also wouldn't mind seeing it in the Forest team?
I think maybe I'd try something different because I feel like everyone starts to predict us. And I feel like would I go narrower maybe slightly? I think I'd try, although at home you do want to go for it. I think I'd try Sells in goal. I think I probably would actually give Moreno a go for the experience at left back because he's tenacious and it works against Liverpool. And I think he's got more to offer. I think he got injured, didn't he? But I think he has got more to offer. Put Aina back at right back, Milenkovic and Murillo in the middle. I'd keep Yatesy in there. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I really want to see Sangare get fit and go on those power runs. And I feel like against City, we need someone a bit bigger in there just to disturb it a little bit. So try Sangare and Yates together and then put Anderson slightly further forward. And rather than having like out-and-out wingers, I think I'd have Gibbs White and Elanga kind of just behind Wood, but like rotate it where like sometimes Elanga joins Wood up front and go with the two, and like it makes a diamond behind, and sometimes it makes a 4-3-3.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only alternative really to the team that I said and we discussed at the start, because you're right, if you predicted the team I predicted, then Pep's going to predict that as well. So maybe it is getting a bit too predictable, and that team has merit, as you say, with Elanga and Gibbs White both playing in a free role, going very narrow when we need to, but also with Elanga's pace as an outlet out wide. So that's certainly something I could see doing pretty well. I would not have any problems with that team. Sangare,
maybe Danilo.
Yeah.
Maybe Danilo as well.
Yeah.
Just something, just a bit more in the midfield, just to compact it and then break away a bit more, because I think we can break on City. I mean, if you watch some of City's games at the moment, they're getting broken through like butter still at the back. There's definitely goals to be had there, I would say.
Yeah, the benefit with that second team is then we have a player as strong as Hudson-Odoi on the bench. I mean, if you're starting Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, then you've not got anyone to bring on when they're tiring. So if you start with just one of them, then you can bring on the other to cause havoc in that City defence in the last 20-25 minutes.
You never know. He might go and just put all the midfielders and go Sangare, Dominguez, Danilo, Gibbs White, Yates, and just do like a 5-man mashup and then bring the wingers on.
Yeah, we did that against Liverpool right back at the start. We started without the wingers. in that game, and they both came on. Langer set up Hudson-Odoi for that winner. So
What would you,
why not
what would you
return
do if
to
it
that?
was 0-0 and he brought on Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, Souza, and Jota at the same time?
Yeah, I mean that would be it would completely confuse that City defence. They often play with 4 centre backs. They can be quite narrow as well. So I think
Terrifying.
Jota's a pest. City wouldn't know how to deal with him buzzing around. And so, as we said, we have seen bits from him. He scored a couple of goals in the limited game time he's had. So that would be certainly an interesting way around that City midfield, which, as you say, without Rodri is not as strong as it should be.
Yeah, although Gonzalez looks all right. He's stepping in, isn't he? So we'll see. Long-term replacement, maybe. But yeah, I mean, interesting. It's going to be an interesting game. I mean, especially if they go full strength. My worry is that they'll put Marmoush, Foden, and Doku behind Haaland, because I just don't know if we'll handle that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be certainly a big challenge for Murillo and Milenkovic, a great duo. But again, they did look slightly out of sorts against Newcastle a couple of weeks ago now. So I think it'll be interesting. It'll certainly be, if those 4, they all offer something different. They all have the different strengths. But we handled Liverpool twice. Only team Salah hasn't scored or assisted against. So why can't we put? Can't even remember who scored directly against us last time. But I don't think Haaland scored in that opening game early this season. So why don't we be the only team who Haaland hasn't scored or assisted against this season too?
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Well, there you go. That's the roundup of what's happened this week. It's been a busy week. Hopefully lots of 3 points on Trent's side this weekend. Hopefully no Marmoush goals. Fingers crossed. Hopefully no McAtee goals either. Just to put it out there.
Maybe we've cursed it, and we'll be sitting here on Sunday reviewing McAtee coming off the bench to set up Marmoush for his second hat-trick in English football. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully not.
You said that last time you predicted FA Cup, you said Exeter. So I'm slightly nervous.
That wasn't a prediction. Crystal ball. I'm going to say 1-1. That's a realistic prediction. We're going to say 1-1. We will take the lead though, so I think it will be one of those 1-1s that. Although now we would take a 1-1 against City, but I think it's going to be a late equaliser from them. So I think it'll be a 1-1 that feels like a defeat rather than one that feels like a win.
I don't mind that though. I'd rather that than be stressed out at 1-0 down the whole game. I'm feeling positive. I feel like we might nick it because we've been struggling recently. I feel like we've got a performance to come out of somewhere, some confidence from the quarters. Obviously, City got through as well. I'm going to go with a 2-1. I think realistically it'll probably be 2-2 because I think there's goals in both teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. If we don't lose to them, then we stay above them, and then we're in third place with 10 games to go. So I'll be definitely more than happy with a draw just to keep up that. The longer we're in the Champions League positions, then the sooner the season will finish. I think we've been third since December now, since Boxing Day or something, I think. So it's now we're into March. We've been held in that position for a while, even with bad performances. So even if it means we're grinding out results, the longer we stay here, the better.
Perfect. Love that for us. But that's the roundup for this week. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you very soon right here on Daily Forest.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.